Welcome back to our homestead. We are a family of 10 living in northern Alberta on a homestead we've been building for the past 11 years. We recently started eating the carnivore diet for health reasons and because it's a diet we can produce in our harsh climate through raising animals for meat, milk, and eggs, as well as hunting large game. Part of eating well for us has been learning to make our own skincare because what we put on our skin affects us internally. I began this journey 10 years ago when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer and I was struggling with rashes and hives, along with a bunch of other things. I knew I needed to stop all the commercial products, especially synthetic fragrances and cleaners. Those were all giving me migraines and really low quality of life. Lotion is one of the first things I learned how to replace. Now, lotion that has liquid in it, it needs a preservative so it doesn't grow bacteria, and that wasn't an option for me. So I set out to formulate a lotion bar that would hold up in our climate and absorb nicely into the skin. Now, you could just slather yourself in beef tallow as it's similar to our own oils and it absorbs well. Whether you eat carnivore or whole foods or animal-based, tallow is amazing for the skin. I discovered this 10 years ago, and I've just used straight tallow on my skin, face, hair, also as a diaper rash cream. But I wanted to make something that felt a little more high end. So I'm going to share my lotion bar recipe with you today. And basically, it's just equal amounts of these basic hard oils. I use cocoa butter, sharing this Wagyu here. I'm going to just mention that in a second. Beeswax and coconut oil. Now, Wagyu tallow is something I discovered recently. This is so smooth and so creamy. It is so much different than regular beef tallow. I actually found it at our local Costco, but we have a lot of Wagyu ranchers around us, so I'm going to see if I can find some fat that I could render. But you could literally scoop some of this out, put it in a small jar, have it in your bathroom, have it on your kitchen sink, use it as a hand balm or a body balm after your shower. It's incredibly smooth. I've never tried it before. You could just stop right there with Wagyu tallow and use that and keep it simple. Or you could use it and make this lovely lotion bar because it just feels a little bit more fancy. And I just like to make it. I really enjoy making my own hygiene products. Now, something I do when I'm working is I will wipe down my spoons and things that I use with all these oils because I have clogged our sinks pretty badly and I don't want to clog our washing machine or our dishwasher. So I will buy paper towel to wipe everything down, and I'll share that as I go along here. Once I get my oils into my double boiler, those hard oils, I just make sure that I am stirring them constantly so they're nicely mixed. I add jojoba oil. I know this is a plant oil, but it is very similar to tallow, very similar to our kind of like skin sebum natural oils or something. And it just makes a really nice absorbing lotion bar that spreads a little bit more easily. It's not too hard on the skin. I found that some of the recipes I had tried, the lotion bar was so hard, it was just dragging on my skin, and I didn't like that. So the addition of coconut oil and jojoba oil helps with that. Now, essential oils. I chose vanilla, geranium, and chamomile. Vanilla because I like the scent of it, but geranium and chamomile because I've read that those help to balance hormones. Although since eating carnivore and learning about how plants maybe aren't as good for us as we thought, I'm still kind of on the fence about oils. I currently have a lot of essential oils in my pantry, so I'm not just going to throw them out. I still use them. And I do think I feel better when I use geranium. I don't know, maybe that's just in my head, but you don't have to use essential oils for this if you don't want any scent. I cannot tolerate synthetic fragrances, but essential oils I'm okay with. So I put it in here because I just really love the scent, especially of geranium. It's my favorite. Chamomile is also such a lovely scent. Um, and you could choose any of the essential oils that you would like to put in this. In fact, I made notes in the written recipe. All you have to do is I have a link. I'll have a link in the description, and you can just go to that link. It takes you to our shop, and you can download a printable PDF with all the information right there in your own printable recipe so that you can make this yourself. Now, I put it into these deodorant containers, and I also have a link for where I buy these. You could also just use an old deodorant container and clean it out and pour it in there. You could also just put it into like a little silicone mold and then pop it out and use it like a lotion bar like that. I just don't know how that will perform in warmer climates because I've only tested this in our climate. We live in Zone 2B, Northern Alberta. We have pretty hot summers, but they're very dry. And then, of course, we have very harsh winters. So I wanted to make it slightly softer to spread under those conditions. So if you live somewhere warmer, you might need the container, but you could try it out and test it. It's really nice, especially after a shower. It absorbs really well into damp skin. I also leave one of these on my sink and I'll rub it on my hands after I wash dishes, and it's just really nice for moisturizing, keeping my skin barrier nice and supple, because we live in a super dry climate and I'm always getting cracked skin and things like that. Now, a little note on cleaning, especially with beeswax. I like to buy these big chunks of beeswax and then cut it myself. The problem is I get a ton of this buildup on my knife. So I will buy paper towel for this purpose. I just heat my knife over my flame there, and then I very, very, very carefully wipe it off and then can throw that paper towel away to keep the wax from building up in my sink. But you can buy beeswax as like little beads that have been processed so that you can just easily measure them out. I just like this big hunk of beeswax I buy because I buy it, I think, from a place in Ontario, and it is so fragrant. It's also micro-filtered, so there's no little bits. Sometimes when I was buying beeswax before, I would get little weird bits in it. And so that's just my preference, but you can actually find beeswax in a lot of more convenient forms, and then you don't have to cut it. Now, for cleaning out my Pyrex dish here, I put it into my hot oven. I already had my oven going because I was cooking some ground beef. So I'm just heating it and I'm pouring out every drop of oil I can get just into an extra mold here. And then I take some paper towel and again, I carefully wipe that out because you really don't want all of that building up in your sink or dishwasher. It's really difficult to contend with from experience. Just a little tip there. Now, like I said, I'll have this written down that you can download and print for yourself to make yourself, or I do sell these locally at markets and my customers love them. So if you wanted to do that, I don't mind. Use it for however you want. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you go and try to make your own lotion bar and benefit from that. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought, and thanks for watching.